Hello and welcome. My name is Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. Today we're going to talk about sublimation tote bags and the best way to make them. Now I have a couple of them here, one with a little baby fox on it and the other one with a stack of books. Both of these files will be available for free, and if you'll head to the description below this video, I'll have those for you. Now I am going to sublimate two different tote bag blanks, but there are a wide variety of tote bags that you could sublimate on. So what you're looking for is a tote bag made out of polyester. Now 100% polyester would be the best, but 65% or more is what you're looking for. Now I tend to stick with tote bags that say they're specifically for sublimation, as do these two. However, if you want to get just a polyester bag and sublimate on it, you probably can. However, just use a little bit of caution. So some polyester bags, like cheap reusable grocery bags, that type of thing, will actually melt at the temperature required for sublimation. So what I would recommend, if you have an unknown tote bag, one that doesn't say it's for sublimation, when we get to the pre-press step, I would cover the entire thing with some kind of protective paper to protect your heat press, and then pre-press it for a very long time at that high temperature. Then check for any melting. If you see any melting at that point, just stop. There's no reason to waste your sublimation print. So that will avoid you making a mess of your heat press, because I've seen several people do that with like a reusable shopping bag type situation. Yes, they say they're polyester, but often the material itself, the fabric, cannot withstand the heat. So do use caution when picking your blanks. But otherwise, let's take a look at the supplies we're going to use. The supplies you're going to need are as follows. You'll need some protective paper, heat-resistant tape, heat-resistant gloves, scissors, lint roller, some sublimation prints. Now these are sublimation ink printed on sublimation paper from a sublimation printer, and I do have two designs and they are available for free in the description below this video. And then I'm going to try two different sublimation tote bags. There are many of these on the market. This first one is from Artistry and the second is one that I just ordered from Amazon. And then when sublimating on tote bags, I do recommend some kind of pressing pillow, pressing foam, something like that. Something to put inside them to sort of lift the inside up. You could even use the Easy Press mat inside of these if you would like. I am going to use my Easy Press to sublimate on these just for the ease of the video. You can use any heat press, you just need some type of heat source. And you want it to get hot enough for sublimation. I recommend something that goes up to at least 400 degrees Fahrenheit. First, we're going to preheat the tote bag. Just to do this preheat step, I'm going to go ahead and add it to the Easy Press mat. And then I am heating my Easy Press to 400 degrees for 45 seconds. That is the instructions on this particular tote bag. Whatever tote bag you purchase, you will want to check the instructions on that tote bag. If it does not have instructions for sublimation, try 385 degrees for 55 seconds. That is a good general rule, at least for my setup, and it usually gets me a good press. But this tote bag in particular says 400 degrees for 45 seconds, so we are going to use that. The first thing you want to do is just preheat the surface. You don't even have to have your heat press heated up for this step. You're just removing wrinkles and moisture. So you just want to get all of that out to get the best print possible. So I'm just going to kind of preheat the surface well. Then once I've preheated that, I'm going to go ahead and lint roll the entire bag. Now you want the bag to cool off again before you actually add the sublimation print. So this is a good time to lint roll. And then we need to add something inside the tote bag for pressing. Now I mentioned a pressing pillow for adding inside, or the Easy Press mat, but what gets really the best results is something that's my sublimation print, is something slightly smaller than the edges of that. So I have this roll of foam and I just cut it to size, and I have sort of standard sizes already pre-cut. This is reusable. It's a heat resistant foam, and I just cut it where it fits inside of my sublimation print. This will help reduce any press marks from your paper itself. However, I don't want any sharp edges on my print either. So what I'm going to do is just rip around these edges to get more of a jagged edge. And I'm going to rip off just the very edge so that this pressing foam will still fit inside of this. So I'm just going to rip around all four edges. So now I have my sublimation print torn all the way around all four edges. This foam still sort of fits inside of that. So what I'm going to do is add the foam to the inside of the tote bag. What does this do? Well, a tote bag has seams all the way around it. It's gonna have stitching. This will raise that center up and get you a better press. Now, I can leave the Easy Press mat under here just for some extra protection on my surface, but you definitely want something inside the bag. And then I mentioned that this foam is reusable. That is only if I don't get any ink on it. So what I'm gonna do is just take a piece of protective paper and I'm going to add it over the top of that foam just so that no ink gets onto the foam itself, and I can reuse that as many times as possible. And then I just want to make sure everything is flat, and we'll just locate that sublimation print. When locating the print, I want to make sure it's in the right spot. I want to make sure it's straight, but I also want to make sure that the pad is underneath it everywhere and that these edges are hanging off of that pad. And then we want to add some heat resistant tape to hold it into place. And I add that at the very edges so that the tape, again, is hanging off of that foam and it won't make marks in my tote bag. Then once everything's in place, I'm gonna add a piece of protective paper over the top of this. And then you can press. So add the Easy Press to the top. And what you wanna do is press down enough, hit the button, press down to where the foam is about halfway compressed. And I'm applying about medium pressure to make sure that foam is a little bit compressed on my surface. And once you remove that, you can just remove the inside pieces. Now, you might notice some puckering because we had pressed down so much, and that is totally okay. So I'm just gonna make sure my Easy Press mat is under here. I'm just gonna use a piece of paper and I'm gonna try not to go over the print and just sort of press around the outside. You could also use something, an iron, Easy Press Mini, what have you, just to get around that outside edge for any lingering press marks or like buckling in this case. And it actually just presses right out. So I'll go ahead and continue to do that on this version. On this version, I just added my Easy Press mat to the inside just to show you that that is possible as well. So even if you don't have foam or another pressing pillow, just use your Easy Press mat. Of course, it won't deflate like when you press on it, so you won't be able to like totally press down on it. But this one, I just ripped around the edges and I don't see any press marks on it. It actually looks really, really good. And I love these tote bags that have the color on the bottom as well as the handles. Just adds a little something extra special to these. So this would be a perfect book bag to take to the library. So here's an up close look at just how great the sublimation looks on this version. So this is a polyester tote bag. However, it does definitely feel like canvas. So you get that great canvas feel, but the ability to add your sublimation project. I did want to show you this version and hopefully you can tell just how blurry the print is. I did not preheat this one enough. So it was absolutely a mistake, but I did want to show you if you don't preheat enough, these can like shrink up, and as they shrink it sort of blurs the print. So definitely be sure to preheat these enough to remove any wrinkles, moisture, and to allow them to shrink any that they're going to shrink. And then finally, here's an up close look at the book version on the one with the black bottom. These sublimated great. Again, they feel like canvas. So you get a good quality canvas bag. However, you can add sublimation to the front, the back, wherever you would like on these. So now I have two super cute tote bags for my own use, and these also make great gift bags. So an amazing tote like this one with a sublimated image on the front would make a great gift bag that the gift recipient could then reuse later. So don't think of them as just tote bags, but also gift bags as well. So hopefully that helps you learn a little bit more about making sublimation tote bags for yourself or to give to others. If you have any questions, drop down in the comment section, ask away. If you liked this video and it helped you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.